Now available in paperback and e-readers, John Haynes, Godbreaker. The man who rules the world takes on the Asgardian god of thunder in this action-packed, all-new John Haynes series adventure. Get your copy of John Haynes, Godbreaker in paperback and e-readers at online booksellers everywhere. 3 black people were murdered at a Dollar General store by a white supremacist looking to participate in a mass shooting on Saturday. Now, in this incident, 21-year-old Ryan Palmeter looked to participate in a mass shooting, hoping to murder black people at Edward Waters University. And as he drove towards Edward Waters University and saw all of the security at the university, he decided to turn away and plan to participate in his mass shooting at a Dollar General store. And as he got into the parking lot of that Dollar General store, Ryan Palmeter decided to put on a black tactical vest, take out an AR-15 style rifle with a swastika painted on it, and then look to participate in a mass shooting where he first murdered one individual who was inside of his vehicle in the parking lot before going inside of the store and murdering 2 other people. And after taking the lives of 2 black people, this is where Ryan Christopher Palmeter then barricaded himself inside of the store, sent a text message to his father, and told his father to go into his room where there was a racist manifesto written. And as he went and told his father to go into his room and get that manifesto, this is where Ryan Christopher Palmeter then decided to take his own life with a pistol. Now, the Jacksonville police see this mass shooting as a racist incident of hate, but when I take a critical examination of the alleged actions of Ryan Christopher Palmeter, they fit the pattern and profile for beta males that I talk about in my book, The Man Crisis. And it's clear to me from reading about Ryan Christopher Palmeter's background and the story of this incident of hate that Ryan Christopher Palmeter's actions fit the chapter in my book, The Man Crisis, called Mass Shooters and the Man Crisis. Now, what usually motivates beta males like Ryan Christopher Palmeter to participate in mass shootings and other incidents of violence is they are angry that their world cannot be smooth, and they are angry that since they cannot live in the smooth world they look to destroy the world of people around them before they wind up taking their lives in infamy. Now, Ryan Christopher Palmeter's, I believe, motive for participating in this hate crime was his anger and hatred of black people, something that he possibly wound up getting indoctrinated in after going online. Now, many of these beta males oftentimes they want to find somebody to make a scapegoat for their state in life, and because they have a poor state in life, many of these individuals don't want to go out here and take responsibility for themselves or their actions. So what they look to do is project their feelings of inadequacy on a scapegoat. And I believe with Ryan Christopher Palmeter, what he wanted to do was make black people a scapegoat for his sad state in life. And as he was sitting there in his sad state in life, making himself out to be a victim, what he was doing was sitting on the internet, seething in anger. And as he seethed in anger, he found other people to validate his hate and ideas of hatred about black people on many racist forums on social media, such as 4chan and 8chan and other Facebook groups. I believe he went to lots of different forums where people were out here participating in a lot of anti-black racism and he found an echo chamber where he could get his ideas and beliefs validated by many of these racists online. And what's even more troubling is that as he was searching for these different kinds of groups, many search engines were basically going out here and turbocharging this man's hatred by the algorithms going out here and suggesting even more websites of hate platforms so that guys like Ryan Christopher Palmetto can find more information that allows them to become radicalized as related to their anti-black hatred. Now, with Ryan Christopher Palmetto, he basically was one of these guys who had been again sitting in that echo chamber, and as he sat in that echo chamber, he was looking to muster up the courage to go participate in a mass shooting like I believe his two heroes were Peyton Gendron and Kyle Rittenhouse. Now, Peyton Gendron was the white racist who decided to go into a black neighborhood and participate in a mass shooting that took the lives of 10 black people, all because he was again living inside of an echo chamber in a rose-colored reality where he was listening to rhetoric from white supremacists, and as he got radicalized by all of this racist rhetoric he had been reading online, he decided to go all the way from where he lived in one part of New York, hundreds of miles over to a predominantly black area, and decided to go to this predominantly black area to participate in looking to take the lives of 10 innocent people. And the mass shooting that Peyton Gendron participated in was something that was seen very positively by many of these beta male white supremacists in many of these white supremacist websites and these web forums, again on 4chan and 8chan and Discuss and Facebook groups. Again, these individuals, they liked seeing that incident, and they also have gone out here and made a folk hero out of Kyle Rittenhouse. Now, Kyle Rittenhouse infamously was the 18-year-old or 17-year-old who went to Kenosha, Wisconsin, under the guise of saying he wanted to protect somebody else's business. And as he was there, he ran into 3 far leftists who said that they were supporting Black Lives Matter or one of these other organizations, and Kyle Rittenhouse wound up shooting and killing 2 of these individuals and injuring another. But my personal belief was that Kyle Rittenhouse really came down to Kenosha to murder black people. And I always believed that because I believed that since it was a riot based on a white cop shooting a black man, this was the thing that motivated Kyle Rittenhouse to go out here and look to manipulate people into having him go down to volunteer to so-called help the police, even though him going to help the police would not be possible because no watch commander worth their salt would want a minor in the middle of a riot where they could get injured, and that watch commander and the department would wind up liable for whatever happened to him. But what the whole situation with Kyle Rittenhouse is that after he wound up getting in that situation, a lot of far-right white supremacists looked to make him into a folk hero, and they looked to make him into some sort of urban legend. And as Kyle Rittenhouse was put on trial and acquitted by a judge who basically held his hand and gave him a pass, this created a folk hero and an urban legend in Kyle Rittenhouse that became a role model for many white supremacists for looking to participate in their violence like mass shootings. And I believe that's what possibly motivated Ryan Christopher Palmetto to have a plan that he wanted to do, because what Ryan Christopher Palmetto really wanted to do was he wanted to go out here and top Peyton Gendron's body count, because with many of these beta males, They want to go out in infamy, and they want to surpass the violence and carnage that the previous mass shooters participated in. And that's what Ryan Christopher Palmetto, I believe, had planned as related to a mass shooting that he wanted to participate in at Edward Waters University, a black Christian college with 1,000 students. What he wanted to do was participate in a mass shooting at Edward Waters University. However, he saw security, and when he saw security and was spotted by a security guard who told him to leave the campus before he was able to participate in the shooting, he basically got spooked. And he got spooked because when he saw that security guard and he saw that they were possibly armed, he saw that there was going to be someone who could possibly shoot back at him and prevent him from being able to go out in infamy like his heroes, Kyle Rittenhouse and Peyton Gendron. So what happened with Ryan Palmetto was that he basically wound up chickening out when he saw that there would be somebody to fight back, because with many of these beta male mass shooters, they really don't like the idea of there being someone who can push back or fight back, because these men want to have all the power and all the leverage as related to the violence they participate in, because in their rose-colored reality, they want to live in a situation where they don't see anybody who can push back or fight back against them. And this is why Ryan Palmetto decided to go out here and leave that campus, because as he was seen putting on that bulletproof vest and mask as he drove away, he then decided to go to the Dollar General because it was a soft target with nobody there to push back against him. And that's something everybody needs to understand about these beta males who participate in these mass shootings. Again, these men live in a rose-colored reality, and that in that rose-colored reality, they want to live in a place where people or objects who can die just die. They don't want to live in a world where they have to deal with people who push back. And again, this was his motivation for going to the Dollar General. He went to the Dollar General because it, one, was a soft target, two, there was nobody there to push back against him, and three, he would not have to deal with any sort of consequences or accountability like Peyton Gendron did. And as he went there, he decided to start his rampage inside of the parking lot, taking the life of one individual, then went into the store and looked to kill two other people. And after he killed the two other people, that's when he decided he was going to go contact his father and let him know that there was a manifesto in his room. And that's when he decided to go out here and take the coward's way out and take his life. He decided to take the coward's way out because he did not want to be held accountable for the violence that he participated in, and he did not want to be brought to justice. This is the thing that beta males do, because what they want to do is go out here and get this attention, where they look to go out here and participate in this infamous event. They want to kill black people to make their statement, but then they don't want to be held accountable for their actions. So in order to avoid having to confront Bubba, Tiny, Roscoe, Big Dave, Rodney, Melvin, and Mr. Sprinkles in prison, what these cowards do is take their life, and they take their life because they just are, again, not men. These are just wimps and cowards. And these racist wimps and cowards, they get their motivation, again, from a lot of information on the internet. And they also got their motivation from one Ron DeSantis. Now, Ron DeSantis, I believe, has another part in this, because he was out here talking about how he wanted to create this race black history in curriculum, saying things like, oh, slaves were out here learning skills. I mean, this also was a part of creating the environment that motivates beta males like this as related to their hatred. So there's a lot of accountability as related to what triggered this guy. And again, these guys, they sit there and seethe and simmer and boil in anger for an extended period of time before they wind up exploding in a rage to participate in this kind of violence. And again, this male had a lot of hatred inside of him for an extended period of time. And again, that hatred he had basically was a part of his secret world. This is another part that people need to understand about beta males like this. They live in a secret world and they express their hatred online because the internet allows them anonymity to live in their secret world and express their hatred on these forums and on these websites. And that this is a place where they can go out here and become radicalized to become the person that they actually want to be. Now, there are reports that say that this guy, Ryan Palmetto, went to be put in a 72-hour hold as related to a domestic violence incident, but I don't believe that this man was mentally ill at all. No, this guy was basically bitch made, and because what he's bitch made, he was out here looking to go out here and hurt black people because he didn't want to take responsibility as a man, and he didn't want to take responsibility as a man because he didn't want to go out here and he didn't want to go out here and take ownership for his actions. And again, a man takes ownership for his actions and he takes responsibility for himself. But this guy basically showed with his actions he was a coward from minute one, and he was a coward who was basically looked to go out here and participate in this violence at Edward Waters University. But when he was confronted by security at that campus, which showed him power and authority, this is where the bitch came out, and he decided to run away. And he decided to run away and try to hurt those who could not push back against him or fight back against him. And that's why he went to the Dollar General to devalue the lives of the individuals who were there because he was a coward. And again, this coward thought, oh, I'm going to muster up enough courage to go to this university to try to top Peyton Gendron, but he didn't have but the whole thing is he didn't have the courage to go follow through. So he went out here and looked to go to Dollar General to participate in a consolation carnage. So it shows me the coward he was, and he then, after participating in this consolation carnage, then decided to go call his daddy and let him know, oh, I did this with the manifesto, never taking ownership or responsibility like a man, never going out here and being responsible for himself. So when I look at this whole situation with this Ryan Palmetto, it's a beta male coward who wanted to participate in carnage, hoping to go out in infamy, going out here showing that he wasn't even able to be his own man. No, he was out here looking to be a copycat of Peyton Gendron and Kyle Rittenhouse. He was looking to go out here and be a knockoff of other shooters, which is another dangerous trend as related to these mass shooters. We're seeing that these guys are looking to basically copycat each other, and they're copycatting each other by buying the same guns, going out here like Peyton Gendron and Peyton Gendron, who had the AR-15 style rifle and the pistol. And I've seen multiple other ones go out here and do this. These guys are sitting on social media basically copying each other, showing me that these guys, again, are doing this, one, for attention because these men don't want to put in the work of being a man, and two, they don't want to go out here and take the efforts to improve themselves. So what they want to do is destroy the world around them. But what I see with the case of Ryan Palmetto is that we've got a racist coward who was too scared to go out here and deal with consequences. So what he does is go out here and participate in taking 3 innocent lives And that's the kind of behavior that beta males participate in, because these are not men. No, they are nothing but cowards. And this coward basically shows how cowardly white supremacists are, that they cannot go out here and take accountability for their actions. That's what I saw here with this Ryan Palmetto, a coward who just went out here and thought he was going out in infamy, but went out ignominiously, taking the lives of three innocent people, but never showing any sort of character at all as a man. So when I look at this whole situation with Ryan Palmetto, this guy, again, he fits almost several of the chapters of my book, The Man Crisis. He fits the chapter of the beta male going out here and living in the rose-colored reality. He's in a secret world trying to go out here and blame black people for his problems, and is indoctrinated into racism and white supremacy. And he's a guy who's out here living in that secret world, who finally mustered up enough courage to go out here and plan his violence. But when his plans fell through, he wound up going out here and thinking that he's going to go out in infamy, but is going to go out in ignominy, and he's now in hell being spit roasted by two demons who are in the front side and the back side where he deserves to be. And this guy, again, was another one of these beta males, and it just shows another part of the disturbing trend of the man crisis, of these mass shooters just going out here and copying each other. Again, they are trading notes on all of these incidents, and this is why we're seeing an increase in frequency of these incidents, because we have a problem in this country. One of them is that we have a lot of these guys on the internet, and they're out here looking for black people to make scapegoats out of. And this is why we need an anti-black hate crime law to deal with these kinds of individuals. We really need an anti-black hate crime law to deal with these kinds of individuals and punish them to the fullest extent of the law. And the other thing we need to deal with these kinds of individuals is we need to go out here and really deal with many of these online platforms by letting people know that there's nothing but misinformation on these platforms, because a lot of these platforms are just the same thing as the terrorists of ISIL or the Islamic State, where these people become radicalized by misinformation. They get radicalized by a bunch of lies, and they get radicalized by a bunch of these people presenting these slanted ideas. So they're another part of the problem. And another problem is that search engines accelerate these kind of searches with the algorithms. So algorithms really need to be tuned, because all you're doing is creating a lot more of these shooters. And we also need people to go out here and invest in educating men so that they won't wind up becoming men in crisis, because this is like the 300th or 310th mass shooting in this country, and all we get is talk about gun control and mental health. And again, this man was not mentally ill, because if he was able to leave that campus when the guard confronted him, that clearly showed that he was of sound mind. Moreover, it showed how bitch-made he was, that when confronted by an authority figure, he ran away. So we clearly see that he is of sound mind. And we see that this guy basically was of sound mind. So that's out as related to the whole argument of him being mentally ill. Then we have people talking about the gun control issue. Well, even though this man had a 72-hour hold, he was able to purchase his guns legally. And this just proves another point that I've been making as related to these mass shootings. Again, we just had a mass shooting with a police officer, showing me, although it's a former police officer, he's a retired sergeant, but it shows that this is not a gun issue. No, it's not a gun issue. It has to do with the way we have been raising boys to become men, because over the last 60 years, as we've had the feminist movement change the way we parent children, We've gone from raising kinder, gentler, softer males to raising a bunch of boys who grow up to become men in crisis. Now, if you want to learn more about what motivates a beta male to participate in this extreme act of violence and wind up on a road to becoming a man in crisis, you can pick up my book, The Man Crisis, on Amazon.com in paperback and Kindle format. You can also find The Man Crisis at other online booksellers like Smashwords, the iBookstore, Google Play, and Barnes & Noble. And if you'd like to see me make more videos detailing how men become men in crisis, you can send a donation to the Patreon, the PayPal, or the Cash App by clicking the links in the description box. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe. Now available in paperback and e-readers, John Haynes, 1987. Learn lessons about life and teenage love in the 1980s in this coming-of-age John Haynes story. Get your copy of John Haynes, 1987 in paperback and e-readers at Amazon.com and online booksellers everywhere. Now available in paperback and Kindle Unlimited, The Man Crisis. Learn why so many men are struggling to find their way in an increasingly gynocentric world in The Man Crisis. Get your copy of The Man Crisis in paperback and Kindle Unlimited today.